every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands.
Hello and welcome back to Talent League Season 10. My name is Chamberine. I'm joined by the wonderful Noctish tonight as my analyst. I don't have a duo for casting for the first game, but I will later on. But Tish, we've got a couple games to break down to start things off. Of course, it's going to be a good game. It's a good night. It's got 3 games. How are you feeling about the kind of the lay of the land, if you will, for the first kind of few days of Talent League?
Yeah, hopefully it happens as you said. We have 3 games. The first game is going to be kicked as Mercy Valhalla versus Eagle Academy, and as you said, we need to little break it down very fast. We are going onto the clubhouse,
Yes.
and it's the first time that we are going in the clubhouse for this season. Since the previous day we didn't go to it, and with the addition of Rams to the Rainbow
Yeah.
Six Siege squad, playing on the clubhouse is going to be way more interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get to see some Ram because I was kind of disappointed at how little she was played over at EUL. She's only played a couple of times, so she's not quite found a niche yet. Although, I mean, of course, it was the introduction of Fenrir as well to stage 2 this week as well. So we've seen a lot of Fenrir play, and I suspect we'll see that tonight as well, unless they get banned. Of course, it's best of 1, so I would be surprised if Fenrir does get a ban or that. But the other games we do have is Da Vinci Esports Youngsters versus Mercy Talent for the second game, and then E-Wave Esports versus Eagle Empire. So there's 2 rosters tonight for Eagle Empire. We've got the first game, Eagle Empire Academy. Second game is just Eagle Empire. So straightforward, nice and easy. But yeah, we're pretty much ready to go. We're just waiting for the players to be ready, and then we'll go into the game. But in the background, I can see that. So Tish will get to go and chill out for a bit while I'll be chilling on my own, casting on my own for this game. So we are ready to go. Clubhouse, of course, is where we are heading, and the bands will start to ring out in just a second. Now, like I say, it's just me for the first game. I will be joined by Blixby later on. They were having some internet issues till about 6 o'clock. I think they had someone in doing some renovations or something. So I'll be on my own for the first game. But that's okay. That's all right. I've done it before. Plenty of times. It's been happening. And a thermite ban to start things. I can't say that I've seen a thermite ban that often. It's not something that comes out a lot. However, if you're going to ban someone on Clubhouse, you want to be banning away one of those hard breachers. It's always a good one. Usually it's a Pabana. Something it used to be back in the day, you see some Maverick ones, but Thermite, pretty strong ban on Clubhouse. So surprised to see it come through, but at the same time, I can understand why it began the way it bans as well. Takebe, second ban, straightforward, very meta pick, global operator, nice and straightforward, and the game audio has now just came through there. I felt like I was in a echo chamber for myself for a moment there, but I now have game audio, so we're ideal. Solace as well, again, no surprises. Those 2 middle bans, I don't think anyone really would have been surprised or shocked to see those come through, given that both operators are extremely strong. I think probably maybe a Fenrir, maybe an Izami, depending on if they don't want to deal with that on the rafters hold. Really does depend on the team, but we'll see. Mira going for us, just to make sure that gym site is a lot easier to attack onto. Mind you, it's one of those ones where it's only banning one operator for that one site. I would much prefer one that's a bit more impactful, because Amira is strong on a couple other sites, but really she doesn't have a big. You can get away with her on other. You get away with not having her on a few sites. I think really you're only forced to take her on that top floor. So be okay. No surprise in the ban. Other than that, Thermite one was a little bit different to what I'm maybe used to. Just asking questions in the chat, checking that Ram is allowed. Ram will be allowed, of course. Pro League allow it. So there's no countdown quarantine, if you want to call that, anymore on operator. So you're not stopped from playing it in your first kind of couple games. You don't have to wait. You can get straight in to the meat and potatoes and use them as much as you want. I suspect we won't see it too much though, because it's a bit of a risky one to kind of try out new ops and stuff in the first kind of couple days. I imagine they'll have been scrimming it and stuff, but it's not seen too much of a prevalence. Like I say, in stage 2, it just started this week. EUL didn't really want to bring it that much. I've seen it a couple of times, but it wasn't too prevalent. Well, starting things off on the basement, of course, defense side here, Mercy Valhalla, they'll be kicking things off downstairs with the Goyo coming through as well. I like to see the Goyo having a rise in gameplay over the last few months at least. Of course, did slip out for a while. Of course, maybe got something to do with that 1.5, just a little bit of something. But good operator all round, of course, and Alibi as well is one that you don't see all that often, but again, always decent back to bring. But starting things off, attacking side from the east seems to be where they want to start things up. Of course, remember, it is bottom floor defense. You do have Dire out towards Secret just now with the Warden. So a little bit of a roam presence, at least not too much though from the defense. Not really opting to go for a crazy roam game. They have one player on the top floor kind of just showing face really, but it's not really a massive focus on that. They really just waste a little bit of time. They do have a Jackal, so it'll be quite easy for them to locate them and displace Lazy Boy, and they do just that as they opt to just drop back to site. Like I say, just a little bit of a show face roam just to show like, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. You're not going to get it completely for free. And a pretty wild Zami setup in that corridor just to make it a nightmare for anybody heading down that main staircase. But the work starts to begin on that hatch play towards kitchen, which is what a standard take. Yellow pins coming through as the drones go searching for these operators that could be floating around on that main staircase. There is no one there for the time being anymore, as he's still just wary that there could be someone over towards Secret. There is, of course, the Warden of Dire still lurking in that area, who's also decided to go back towards the site. And there is a little bit of a bug just now with the free cam. Like, you don't really hear the autos, but I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if it's the way they've just designed it. It's a little bit quiet. It's strange. I noticed it over the weekend over at EL, so it's a little bit strange. Nanos just confirming in my ear producer that it is indeed a bug. It's a little bit strange. So if you're wondering why there isn't any audio when it's in those cams, that's the reason. That's why. Mike though has cleared out Secret and now can head down, spearheading the attack from this side of the map, trying to displace what would be the Warden towards Generator, but there is no one there just now. They're not opting to hold it, just rotating from the Alibi, and a little bit of damage done onto Matsu on the other side as well. So of course the 1.5 on Jackal will be very strong in the hands of Mike here, should he decide to push this angle here. Guti though in a good position at the bottom of the main staircase, and the first kill does ring out. It's Juicy to find J1, and that is the buck gone. So a little bit of work to do on the vertical, slowed down there, but taken right out of the round is Dire. Guti swings out and really just uses those Azami barricades to create havoc to peek there, but another one from behind. Mike pops down the staircase, but is immediately flanked by Lazy Boy. They find themselves in a 2 versus 4 scenario, approaching that final 30 seconds, and it's down just to Scar, but he's going to die to the Goyo Flames as they are just too much on that doorway inside of Moto. And the first round will go towards the defense here.
The thing about solo cast as well is that you're in a bit of dry mouth because I end up talking for quite a long time compared to what you're used to, so it's a little bit different. Like I say, it's just the first map that I'm on my own, so I hope that you're having fun. I hope it's decent. You're just having to listen to my own voice, just me. I will have Blaine joining me for the second game, which we kind of want this game going a little bit longer because we do have a little bit of a gap between the games, so hopefully this game does go on for some time. Well, then again, my voice maybe doesn't want that as much, but I've not casted in a while, so shaking off some cobwebs. So I'm hoping that we can get a good couple of games in. Different site, of course. Defense one on the bottom floor, so that is locked. Have to change it up, and Gym and Bedroom is now where we head for our showdown round number 2. No surprises really in the operator pick. The first Fenrir of the match does come through, and I did think that we see a lot of Fenrir very strong in this scenario, and we see Mike maybe going to come through on the Ram, so we'll get to see it in some competitive play. See how that performs. Buck as well swapped out Paper Sledge instead. Perhaps just want to go for the nades. Just really the only difference that we bring. Slightly different gun, slightly different kit as well. No vertical available from below. Aero or Aero, if you want to call that, depending on the pronunciation. Holding an angle all the way through to Garage. Now, this is actually a really old angle, so a lot of people don't actually know about this one. Very straightforward. You can see the garage door. Mike's taking a bit of damage from it, and we're probably thinking, well, where's that coming from?
Gym window is the position that they currently have. Very deep angle all the way to the doorway into garage, so very good angle to hold very early on, especially on this site where you know they're going to be wanting to take the east side and sweep across that cache area. So a couple of licks damage, doesn't do too much to make those not be worried about that just yet. Habana, though, has opened up that main breach into CCTV just as Juicy manages to escape what could have been an early death, taken down to 20 odd HP, but makes it back to site, still alive and kicking for now. The ace, though, of Guti just now opening up that bathroom wall, make sure they can pressure from that side and just begin to prod and poke at this defense and see if they can get on the key to unlock this and start things up for their attacks, because last round it just didn't quite go their way. But they need to be careful here of the fact that the Fenrir still lurks at the top of the red staircase. Matsu's still in that position, but they seem to know flashbangs go deep, but he's pulled away. Not in that position anymore, and Mike will send out the drones, sends out the boogie device just to cause havoc, really just make them think. I'm almost losing my train of thought, never mind the players just now hearing that sound of that. J1 though picks up the first kill inside of this round, and it will be Lazy Boy to fall, as now the pressure does start to mount towards that site. Construction looms and beckons as they try to find it for the attack, but not got control just yet. Still patiently waiting for anyone to come through. There's Juicy in a position next to the rotating side of Jim, just waiting to peek over that bed. He's prone just now in a little bit of a sticky situation. Can't quite cross because there's someone on that window, but there is also someone very deep in the back of cache. Needs to be very careful if they show too much. Just needs to make sure that they don't overexpose and be wary of the fact that there is someone on that side and does spot the player, and they will take their head off. It is Ram, who didn't have much to do in this round, but falls down. So 3 versus 3 now, as eventually we do get a little bit of pace coming out from the attack, sends it into site. Scar finds one, and Matsu's in a 1 versus 3 scenario, puts in the final 30 seconds as the dying embers of this round. It does fall. J1 with the final shot onto Matsu, finishes it off, and the attackers get their first round on the board. 1 apiece on Clubhouse. Strange getting to come in and do a solo cast, because I used to solo when I first started casting. This was the first how we had to do. I had to spectate, I had to cast, to do everything, and it's very different. So it's not often I get to solo cast. So it's quite nice. It's a very strange vibe because you can talk. You almost feel like you're talking to yourself almost. Very strange when you're doing it. But it's been a good game so far. First couple of rounds back and forward, so it's been a pretty good start for both teams. A little bit better from the attack on that side. I really activated. They waited till the last kind of 40 odd seconds of that round to really start putting the pressure on and really up the ante in that round, and it worked out for them. Bit of pace change, and they got that round on the board. And heading back to Gym, we're gonna have a reattempt, see if they can just shore it up, make some amendments to maybe what went wrong. Maybe they spotted what the issue was. I think really, for me, I think if the Fenrir of Matsu had Playday there a little bit longer, I think he could have put up a bit of a better fight for the top of red. He kind of dipped off as soon as the first flashbangs went out, so I think that it would have been a little bit of a better scenario for him to hold on to that a little bit longer, because that's where, inevitably, that is where most of the attackers did come from. And Arrow again onto this angle. Of course, you do need someone to open up that wall so you can see the doorway, but again hops onto it. It's just a very quick and easy way to maybe pick up a free kill if no one's paying attention to the fact that there is a deep angle onto the doorway. Hopefully, whoever it is that is currently on the drone outside that doorway is wary of it. I mean, the wall is open, so they will see that. Maybe they'll be thinking that is potentially what is happening, as the alibi of Lazy Boy was inside of garage, but is rotated off as J1 seems to know it, peppering in some shots through that unreinforced wall just now to see if they can land anything, but no one's there to receive them. So, change things up. Towards site we head, and now they'll begin to start the compression down towards the site. As we have a Ying this time. Slightly different in the operator lineup currently. Just want to change things up. Still 5-5 though, only a minute gone. As now the wall will begin to open on Hot Tub's side. Drone dealt with those. They just tried to gather some information to who's playing inside of Jim. Is of course the Legion, who's so strong this season currently. Super shorty now in the back pocket. Legion Mind buffed, and of course the T5 has always been a pretty strong gun as well. So expect to see quite a bit of Legion in the coming weeks. Lazy Boy though finds the first frag inside of this round, and it's J1 who is killed off in the first minute and a half. As Mike now has claimed the construction, and with it also claims the life of Juicy. This is wary though that still someone could come up that staircase from behind, but takes quite a bit of damage from construction. Just wasn't ready for the swing to come through. Scar's going to find Matsu, 3 versus 4 scenario, approaching that final minute now. As a head that isn't quite spotted there. Gui doesn't realise there's actually a person right on the other side of that alibi prisma. Was Aero on the Azami. Just getting a little bit cheeky with it. Doesn't get anything as a reward for it. So 4 versus 3 still. Man advantage in favour of Eagle Empire Academy just now, but Mike is not looking too hot for HP just now. Zero seems to think there's still someone on the gym window, and he would be right to assume that. Just right to his left, there is still someone waiting. Mike's still cautious of construction being flanked upon. Eventually does send it in towards site. Gouty finds Aero and deals with the gym presence. The diffuser though is available, though, but a swing comes up from behind the bomb chassis. It's Scar who's failed in a double C4. Dyer finds Gouty and at the same time Manny. And now in a 1 versus 1, Scar versus Dyer. The C4 did come from below, so they'll know that they have time to plant. Goes for the stick. Approaching the final 15 seconds, doesn't matter now because the diffuser is down. 45 seconds is all that's going to separate this round, and the shotgun in hand here just sweeping through. Remember, it is almost like a sniper, but Scar knows exactly where to look and where to pre-fire. Hits a Fenrir and will be blinded just momentarily, but that will give away the position of where they could be. Dyer knows that they've rotated round. They're inside of Jim, knows where the diffuser is now, and has to try and bait it out. Scar through the wall, doesn't want to go for it, but has to go through the rotate, and has got himself stuck in a bit of a sticky situation because they're forced to go through that one angle. But there's a shotgun on the other side, opens up an angle just to try and bait it out, swings with the shotgun, gets the down, and Scar felled. Dyer with a kill, and a clutch coming in round number 3 for Dyer. The 1 versus 3 technically. Pulls it back from the brink and wins that one out on their second time of asking on Jim. Double C4, beautifully done inside of Jim. Scar giving the excuses already. I'm not warmed up. Not quite ready for the gunfight, it seems. Aero immediately with the bite back. Just love it. A little bit of friendly competition, healthy competition, bit of banter. That's with it. But Dyer, beautifully done. SMG-11 and a shotgun to go with it, which proved to be the difference. So 2-1 Mercy Valhalla. They find themselves in a position that could really have been either way. It could really be any of these teams that are currently 2-1 up. But the clutch does come through from Dyer, who now is in 5-2. Hops over to the Warden, changing things up. And will likely go and show a little bit of a presence on their own game, because back towards the basement site is where we head. And the Goyo coming again, much the same as before. They were pretty successful. Very straightforward defense for them. I imagine they will pretty much just go for the repeat on this. Attackers wise, again, Mike on to Jackal. Of course, everybody knows by this point. Familiar with Jackal, everybody bans Jackal. Probably the most common ban from the attack side. Mike's going to find Dyer actually starts things off very quickly. I didn't even spot where he's found that. Baffled, as you can see our observers also trying to think as to where the hell did that come from. But Warren gone, no clutch this time. No kills at all. Will not even outlive the first 30 seconds as Guti takes a bit of damage, as well as the Lazy Boy is the next to go and the next to leave this round. The J1 spearheading this attacking towards Cash as they link together and try to take construction control from the defense, and they do just that. No problem at all. 2 members are dead. And there is no control on these middle floors now. They're going to have to come back towards site, as Justin wants to get a vertical angle here so they can hold onto that main stairs. A very nice angle, one that you need to be careful and wary of coming down that staircase. You can see the outline of the butt upstairs inside of logistics, so could happen here. But just a little quick peek out. So the Habana, of course, of Scar does know where to look and knew what was going to be happening. Just checks it and then dips back away, and that forces the angle change from Juicy. And a close shotgun inside of Secret, so they have to be careful as they come round towards that staircase inside of the storage area down towards Blue. But Matsu doesn't want to take that challenge any longer, just hops back down towards site as the Buck still screams out on the other side, making it so much vertical holes. Last time they lost it early and they struggled with that and lost the round off the back of it. This time though, they've made amends and managed to keep that and managed to make all of the angles that they require. At the same time, the Habana pellets you can hear getting put on the hatch on the other side, so they will presumably be successful in getting the control that they need, but there's still pressure from inside of Arsenal. There is still C4 as well in the back pocket of Matsu, and he's wary that someone could come down this oil pit, and he's exactly right, just has to be in the right place at the right time here. Checks up towards secret side, but Mike's just on the other side. He's going to get himself a pick off the back of it, doesn't realise there's a player behind the generator, swings out with the shotgun. Matsu finds one, but we're in a 1 versus 4. Another cut situation for Mercy Valhalla. It's Aero this time, but he's not up to par. Not the same as Dyer, can't come through. And EE, they pick up another round, this time on the attack, and much better attack on that bottom floor defense on basement. Two apiece. Let's say that we wanted a little bit of a longer game because we do have a gap between the games, so we wanted it to go on for a decent amount of time. So this is good. We're on track for time management wise. It's also been a pretty good game. Take a bit of back and forward. I always like it when it's close. But that's a couple rounds in a row where Mercy Valhalla have looked a little bit worrisome on those defenses. 2 in a row, they've ended up on a 1 versus 3, and then now a 1 versus 4, which they failed. So Clutch did come through the first time with Dyer, second time not so much. But to get in that position is the worry for them. That's twice in a row that they've found themselves on the back foot, so they need to change things up a little bit, and what they've decided to do for that is go towards CCTV. So different site this time, something we've not seen from them as of yet, so we'll see if they can come up with something different. No wall denial brought along for that main breach. Happy to just let it be open. We know there's no thermite, so they're going to have to bring the ace. Maybe they'll go for that impact trick, because they do have it on Zami. And they are pretty consistent with who they want to bring. They always bring that Zami, Alibi, Warden, pretty much that same core. Fenrir as well has made an appearance in a few rounds, and Juicy on the Jaeger just to make sure that those projectiles can be denied. Matsu takes up a position out towards the bedroom, joined by his partner Dyer. Both of them are just joined at the hip for the time being. But this should be relatively straightforward for the attack to get this opened up, and they're maybe looking at it like this with glee. They're kind of thinking, this is a little bit too easy here. They have Goody perched up on outside of the breach, and it will be opened up. That hole now wide open, splits the site in two and puts pressure on the defense, but they were happy to absorb it. They didn't put any effort into holding it. So now, what do you do with that? You have to be concise here on the attack. You've gotten this pretty straightforward. You don't have to do much to do it. You don't have to spend resources and time and effort to actually open it. Within the first minute, they've done one of the harder jobs and got it done. It's pretty much inevitable, so some teams like to play into that, some people like to deny it, but it's just so they're not really bothered. You see, just thinking about going for the peak, just tempted. Standing on rafters, knows his position. That is the key element to these attacks. You want to hold on to rafters as long as possible, and everyone is aware usually that your rafters player will eventually die at some point. It's pretty much a suicide position. J1 inside of bedroom, joined by a few of his teammates as they try to go for a take from cash into construction. Well, into construction into cash, let's say. But they've gotten this for free as well. Not much presence from the defense. They're not really bothered about giving them this control. They've given them the breach, they've given them the control towards Master, so they really want to play up this denial, and they're playing quite close together. So we'll see if they can deny the plant. They do have a few players down below. C4's already been expended from the Warden, so there is no denial there from that. The rotate as came through. The cash wall will not be opened up, because there was indeed an impact in the back pocket for Azami, and that leaves them short for that main breach. They will not be able to get that breach in towards cash opened up. All three ace charges expended, and now they're going to be funneled through this doorway as they have to try and get something done here. They've got the control they needed on either side. It's just a matter of when to prod and when to push as J1 opens up this round. This arrow that is killed off to start things. Another one, Gooty's going to find two, pops in, finds Juicy and Dyer, and then Mike's going to send it in towards Cash. Catches Matsu not looking the right way, and Lazy Boy in a 1 versus 5 tries to clutch it up. But J1 has their ticket and finishes it off. Now the lead for Eagle Empire Academy, 3-2 on their attack on Clubhouse. Again, I did say that it was looking a little bit worrisome for Mercy Valhalla, the last two defenses before we went into that round there, and it does ring true. Same scenario happens again. We find a player in a clutch scenario. They gave quite a lot of the map, though. I was quite surprised at. I thought there was maybe going to be a plan of action giving that. They gave up Master pretty much right away as soon as there was pressure there. They let them have the breach. They were happy to just let them have this control. Not really fussed about contesting it. And ultimately it cost them. They just did not have the utility below to deal with anything. They did have a C4, but it went out early, didn't find anything with it. They did manage to deny that cash breach, so they did force the attacking side through the doorways, but sometimes it is very much just to peek or be peeked. And that is what happened. Swinger B-spawn. Just sitting it through a doorway, and the attackers were just better in that scenario. Hopefully, for Mercy Valhalla's sake, though, this doesn't bring bad tidings as they have struggled the last few rounds. Hopefully they can exit this half with a 3-3 split. 4-2 in the attack on Clubhouse is not ideal. You really want to get a couple. You really want to get at least 3 on this defense in Club. First death inside this round, though, is Lazy Boy, who leaves us within the first 30 seconds, and Mike to find that one with an IT as well on the other side into Garage, making sure that they have a way in. Quite some time though. Showing maybe why they don't play the shotgun operators and make the rotates. But there's a lurking move inside of Lounge. There's indeed Matsu on that end, and he will be receiving some pressure now. There's a Jackal, what Trix does go out and catches where Matsu's playing. He's not even bothered. They have the information as to where exactly he is, and he doesn't even want to move. He's happy just chilling here. He knows, you're going to have to push me. I have a shotgun. Come on, try it. Go for it. Gooty, though, will find Juicy on the main staircase. And that leaves them with 3 members left alive for Mercy Valhalla. As again, this round here starts to slip away from them. Approaching that minute and a half, halfway through this round. They do still have 2 C4s in pockets available. Impacts as well for arrows, so they can at least attempt to deny that hatch play if it does come through. But they do have a Habana, of course, in the hand of Scar. So it will be getting opened up at some point, provided Scar is successful and knows what they're doing with it. So, but I imagine they are. So I don't think they'll have too much trouble opening up that hatch. And Moto Hatch is the first one that is open, so pressure point activated for the attack, as they're not really in a rush. They didn't take those kills and go with the momentum. They didn't want to just send it straight into sight. Still setting up their take, still setting up the push they want to go for. Eagle Empire are showing that they are playing well together, really showing that coordination, especially early in the season, of course. It's only day 2, so, well, technically kind of play day 1, kind of, for this league. But, yeah, very early on. So they've shown up flashes of brilliance so far on this attack. It's nice to see them all linking up. It seems to be that now they're starting things off here, though, but just on the other side, Gooty doesn't realise, but look, it's just completely unloaded in this round. Shotgun can't be enough for Matsu as J1 finishes off what was a flurry of kills as they just activated the pace there. Eagle Empire, they've proven time and time again, they get themselves set up, they tick all the boxes, and then they just change the pace, and they just cannot compete with it, Mercy Valhalla, so far. But they'll maybe be happy going onto this attack now. Maybe now, because they are the ones that control the pace, they're the ones that can change the tempo, and really Eagle Empire had them up against the wall with those attacks. And Church and Arsenal seems to be the first place that Eagle Empire are going to take us in a slightly different couple of operators. We do have the Oryx likely set up for that roam. In fact, I say likely, we'll definitely get on that roam.
As many bombs as they can.
As last time Mercy Valhalla, they weren't that really into the roam game. They kind of showed a little bit of roaming here and there, just to put a kind of presence, a couple of pop shots, and then dip back to the side. They weren't too interested, and I imagine that Mike on the Oryx will just be staying away from sight as long as possible, trying to do as much work, just wasting as much time as they possibly can. But like I mentioned, it's bottom 4 basement we're going to head to first, and we do see what could be another ram. So far, it's not shown to be crazily effective. It worked a little bit for a sound cue to cover it up, but it's not really been used for the actual purpose, which is, of course, self-destruction.
Attacker's objective is to locate
As speculated, though, Oryx out on the hunt, just trying to show a presence on the top floor, making rotates, opening up hatches, and generally just going to be a nuisance. That's generally what he is going to be doing. Getting up to mischief on the top floor is what Mike is going to be doing. They're going to have to drone it, going to have to get the information, and they're going to have to try and find where these players are. But Gooty is also upstairs on the Fenrir as well, so they'll have put those F-Nats down, and I think they've actually just misdroned. I actually think they have just completely and utterly misdrown Guti. They've not realised he's in that corner. They have. They've completely misdroned it. This is maybe an unfortunate round here for Mercy Valhalla. Very simple mistakes like that can cost you rounds. It hasn't came to anything as of yet, but it does. Just as the words leave my mouth, Guti finds Matsu, and you can just tell what's happened in the Discord. Oh my word, where did that come from? How is he there? As no one had a clue that Guti was lurking on that top floor, and he gets one for free. He gets all the way back to site as well before being punished. But on the top floor, Lazy Boy wants to get into an engagement with Mike, who's opened up some holes, made it a bit of a nuisance to move around inside of Cash, made it uncomfy to sweep through that top floor. Lazy Boy doesn't want to feed into it, doesn't want anything to do with it. Instead, just hops down that red staircase and will go from a different point of attack. Here is still on top floor. Mike up there, they're going to have to deal with them. Presumably they know. But if they don't, again, this could be massive for them. Mike's still inside of logistics. I think you do know. You do seem to know that he's around that area. They do, and they will deal with him. Lazy Boy starts things up for the attacking side for Mercy Valhalla and evens the odds. 4-4 now, approaching the final minute of this round. The first attack for Mercy Valhalla. Looked as though it could be dire straits to start things, but they've at least made sure that it hasn't got away from them early on. Vertical play, though, in towards that main stair area is done. Guti takes quite a bit of damage inside of Secret, getting aggressive, almost loses their life as well, and Scarf swinging out doesn't realise how many people are actually stacked up towards that blue staircase, so has to be very careful as they both link up. Very slow walk down we go. Lazy Boy being sneaky with it. Knows that there's going to be someone there, but the swing could come from behind that generator at any moment. He knows there's one there. He can hear him shuffling around, but the stalemate still goes on. Good old-fashioned Mexican standoff is there. Well, I was going to say that he knows he's there, but he doesn't. No one knows Lazy Boy has snuck his way down towards blue, but he seems to be aware that there is one inside of blue and to the left inside of oil, but doesn't realise Guti though finds one. It's a triple kill for Lazy Boy inside of this round. It's a 2 versus 3 scenario, but just as we get it established, Manny finds himself in a clutch, but turns the back at the wrong moment, and Lazy Boy finishes it off with a 4K on that round for them. The first round on the attacking side for Mercy Valhalla. They start things off with a win, and they edge closer to evening up the score again on Clubhouse.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Same site, a rehash this time for the defense. They'll just try and make sure that they have people in the right places. They react to the right areas. They didn't realise how far Lazy Boy was and how easily he'd set himself up inside of blue. And that really finished off the round for them. Once they got control of blue, it really just slipped away through their fingers. And they got the first attacking round on the board for Mercy Valhalla. So Eagle Empire, they have to be careful. It's a retry. I am not as much of a fan of teams retrying sites unless they specifically know the exact thing that went wrong. They have changed the Oryx, so they have dropped that off. Guti's still in the Fenrir. They've got rid of the Oryx this time. They've changed things up. This time they've got the Jaeger. And we'll see if that pays off for them in this round. Pre-plays drone set up inside of Strip Club. It seems to be where they're heading from, at least. Juicy goes to the top floor, though, to start things with a clear up there. But there's no one up there. Not like the last time. I had 2 players up on the top floor for the defense, but no one's up there this time. Not really interested in holding on to it. No active play. They seem to think, you know what? Nope, we're going to go for that turtle. We're going to hold inside the site. 5-man turtle. Everybody just chill out in sight, and we will just invite the pressure. Now, it does depend on how quickly the attack react to this information. Do you drone out? You figure it out? You say, look, well, there's no one showing this, so we can just go in, get comfortable. Big fan of using the ram to open up the barricades because it's so quick, so much easier than doing, you know, melee in it or, you know, one punch, shoot it, then bolt it. It is just throw it through a barricade and you can beam it right in. Very quick. Just say opening up the motor hatch though inside a bar. That'll provide the first avenue of pressure, and then the next focus will be inside of kitchen. Hello, that hallway between bar and kitchen is wide open now, courtesy of the boogie device. Of course, sent out nice and easily.
Attackers have
Opens that
located a
up, no
bomb.
pressure at all. You don't have to worry about someone getting C4'd. You can just throw it down and chill out in that. But Tutsi spotted for a sec there, but Perspective will betray the ace on the hatch. As Lazy Boy is finished off. And he's claimed one himself. It's actually the Goyle canister? I have no idea how that's happened. Anyway, Gutti's pushed back there. Has to avoid the breach charge because not doing so good for HP, but it doesn't matter because the MP7 finds the head of Matsu and he dips back in towards sight as well. Much better from the defense here. The nade will be cooked, pin pulled, and sent towards the doorway. It will go in. It will find the life of Gutti. No problem at all. 5 HP and a dream was not enough to keep them inside of this round as we are now approaching the last 30 seconds. You see on the drones to try and get as much information before they start with his actual execute, but the smoke goes deep in towards main stairs and that forces back the attack. They have to head back to the top floor. They can still do some of this vertical play. They can still continue to do that if they want to open up some more angles, but Scar's going to find Lazy Boy, and that means that we enter into the dying embers of this round. Goyle canisters popped. Smoke Babe sent out towards blue because you know that's where they're going to push him from. Aero's the one that spearhead this attack down that side as Juicy finds Manny on the other side. It's a 1 versus 2 now for Juicy. Try and clutch this one up. Has to exit with a triple kill at the very least to win this round out. But has sight control inside of Church, but doesn't know where to look those spots to head. But immediately refrags Scar on the coverage for his teammate as the cross angle. And Eagle Empire Academy get their first defense on the board. 5-3 now, and the timeout does come out from Mercy Valhalla. Like I say, if you're just joining us, it is just me for the first game on my own. And we'll be joined by Blaine, or Blixby, if you want to call them that. Later on, for the last 2 games, some internet issues depriving us of their presence for the first game, so you've just got me to deal with. I do have Tish on the desk as well after, so we will break down some rounds. We'll have a discussion before we go for a break after this game, because it's a little bit of a break because the scheduling, just the way the scheduling works, so we do have a little bit of a break between it. So that's why we want this game to go on as long as possible. We want this, ideally want an overtime scenario happening. Of course, none of the teams will want overtime. They want to just finish this in regulation and get it finished off. And Eagle Empire seem to be the team in control so far. They do retry the basement, and in a much better fashion, they do win it out. Gym and bedroom now, though. Heading to the top floor. Change of scenery for this round. Of course, basement now locked. Went out, so can't go there for the third time. Not at least for another 2 rounds at least. So gym and bedroom is where we head to. And so we will get quite a bit of an extension towards Stevie and Cash. Manuel on the castle. No bandit, which is always interesting. No bandits, no one playing for the denial, no one really interested in that, especially given that there is a castle as well. Quite common to see this all castled off and then see a little bit of bandit play. No, always want to see some bandit play, you know. I think that bandit tricking is one of the more interesting mechanics in Siege. Actively having to play with your gadget, it's always fun to see. Not getting it though in this game. Of course, there is a Thatcher
5 seconds left.
and 2 hard breaches. So, plenty of opportunity to get these walls open.
Attackers must locate and
Maybe
defuse
they
a
can get
bomb.
in the positions to start things off. Of course, the Florist just to round out the attack as well. Which is always good to bring. No Mira, because she is banned, so it should be easier to take this site. Should being the key word for that bathroom side. Aero gets things kicked off on the east side of the building as they start just setting up these drones, getting the information, finding out where the defenders are playing. But on the other side, 2 support players, Thatcher and Ace, linking up together, making sure that they get this breach on the hot tub wall opened up as quick as possible. So that job is done. So as soon as you get that done, you don't have to worry about it. You can kind of go do your own thing. You can just hop in the drones and do whatever you fancy. But very sticky situation to find yourself in. Juicy's sitting on the very close side of that breach, so we have to be very, very careful here, Scar, because sitting in the rotate, yes, can be spotted because of the castle barricade, but should that be popped, they could be found from quite far back. So I have to be very careful. We'll come back to that in just a second, though, because at the top of the red staircase is a lone warrior in the form of a Wamai in the hands of Mike, sitting behind the shield, stacking the magnets, No one joining them. There is, of course, there's army further back inside of construction. We do have J1 supporting them somewhat with the longer angles should they need it. The wall's opened in towards CCTV, and Juicy is the first one to fall inside of this round, and a nice shot rings out as Guti finds himself up. Proximity alarm will give away the position of Lazy Boy on the red staircase, but they've already flushed out the player at the top. They're not interested in floating around. They've got their one and dipped back in towards Cash, of all places. They're just sitting in the corner here. So very sneaky position to uptake. Has to be very careful here, the attack. They have to make sure they drone this. They don't realise he's in the corner. Mike finds one, almost two. Tries to go through the rotate. Well, get the flank ground behind, but cuts him in the drone animation. Almost caught out. Flores has not even reacted. Doesn't realise, but just like that, it all falls apart for the attack. Is Hero now in a 1 versus 5? He finds one. Mike dropped. 50 seconds to work with. A good gun in the hands as well of Flores. And a flashbang to go with it. But is it too little to try and find any semblance of clutch? We've only seen one so far. We've only seen Dyer pull off on the defense. Looks to be that match point beckons in favour of Eagle Empire because Aero is not interested. He's just taking this as a timeout, chilling out. Discussion with the team. What is going wrong, guys? Is probably the discussion, or should be the discussion. I don't know. Flashbang goes through, and it's nice to see a Warden main actually use their gadget. Doesn't happen often. Many of those found from Aero of all places. I think he runs out. Did he run out? Oh, okay. Catches him out. Flashbang doesn't matter. Just better. Finishes that round off though. Eagle Empire. They head on to match point. 6-3 currently, and it looks as though Mercy Valhalla could go out of this one with just not so much as a whimper really, because they fell off for the flashes of a couple good rounds at the start, but since then it has been all downhill. They've really looked, you know, against the Kosh here. It's really not looked too good on these last few rounds. Timeout has not helped, unfortunately.
Attackers need to locate and
Eagle
defuse
Empire
as many
will
bombs
look
as
to
they
try
can.
and finish this one off with what is a bit of a rogue choice, I think. A Baron stage defense. So slightly different. Slightly different. It doesn't come out that often. It is usually used to try and
Bomb
catch them
located
out.
by
If
attackers.
there's a time to bring it out, it would be now. You would expect them to play it safe and go for maybe that CCTV defense, maybe something different. They've obviously won basement and also then won gym, so forced to go to either CCTV or Baron stage. And not interested in CCTV, so heading to bottom floor site. Fully reinforced in stock as well. Common practice would be for some head holes or having the top of that open and have someone flip upstairs, but not interested in holding that either.
Attackers'
Just wanting
objective
to
is to defuse a bomb.
shore up site, bring the castle barricades, and really just set up a pit of despair for these attackers to try and enter. Legion on the top floor, joined by the Fenrir, traps all around, and that will slow down any push that could come through for this attack site. Well, the east side is where the pressure is felt to start, and it is Sledge's hammer that opens up that wall towards CCTV's Guti shows face and shows that there is presence on the top floor. You're going to have to try and clear it out. We're not going to give it up without a fight, so you're going to have to try and flushes out from those positions. Guti's still taking a little bit of damage as well, presumably from that window. As he was just so intent on keeping it. Why not? 3 players on the top floor as well now. They have been reinforced now. The castle of J1 has came up to join Mike and also Guti as well. So 3 players upstairs. Fenrir gadget, of course, on the construction door will make it a bit of a nightmare to head in and funnel through that doorway, but the wall is open to its cash. So they have at least a position set up, and an aid goes deep towards the rotate, but no one's there to receive it, so no damage done, except to the pool of resources for the attack. As Lazy Boy, he sends it in towards the FNAT mine, and his vision is clouded, but he doesn't really care. He's still sending the shots in towards logistics, and he falls back. And in and out, in out, shake it all about for that doorway until you can find that gadget, because you're going to have to find it before they send it in there, because it's not ideal to find yourself in a scenario you're heading through a doorway and you can't see anything. Don't have to state the obvious too much. Now Aero is the next one up to the plate. He also can't find it. So, not doing their best work here. Eventually does get it. So, but Lazy Boy killed off. Mike's going to find 2 inside the gym, almost a 3rd, but Dyer finishes him off before he can do any more damage.
Have recovered their diffuser.
Really make it a difficult scenario for the attack to find this as Gute and J1 head back towards site. Manny finds a shotgun into the face of Aero upstairs. There's a nice vertical angle inside of kitchen, stops the rotate in towards logistics, and then they have to be careful. The Echo drone as well spots out Matsu inside of construction, puts the pressure on them, disorientated, can't see a thing. Heads ringing, Legion mines in the ankle. It's not fun to bring yourself in, but does get away from now. And begins doing some of the vertical work. Dyer's also helping with that, using the Selma charges to do just that. They managed to clear out the shield as well inside of bathrooms. Dyer hops out the window and goes for a rotate round towards presumably kitchen or stock. Still, Matsu is attempting to go for vertical play, but can't spot anyone from it. They're not over peaking here. Eagle Empire showing great discipline so far as the rotate from Dyer has came through, but down in the
15
basement,
seconds left.
there's a mute still to be dealt with, and their C4 has been pre-placed as well. J1 knows there's one in the doorway. It's going to be spotted out, and it's now going to be a clutch situation for Matsu to finish it off, but it's Gute with the final shot, and Eagle Empire Academy, they take that in comfortable fashion, 7-3. No problem at all for Eagle Empire, and we will go onto the desk. We'll have a little discussion, me and Tish, before we'll send it to a break, so we'll have a little bit of a chat as to maybe what went wrong or what went right for Eagle Empire. But great round. Great rounds coming out from Gute and Mike. Individual rounds as well from a few players who are Dyer really trying for the team. It just didn't quite happen. So you get to see your beautiful faces for a few more moments. We'll have a little bit of discussion there. Tish, what do you think went wrong there? Or what went right for the other side?
Let me check first if my VC is working.
Your audio is good, yes. You're here.
Okay, perfect. So, first, I want to congratulate EA.
Yeah.
It was actually a very good and coordinated game.
100%.
You don't see that every day in the games.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just called it out for a second. You don't see that every day in the games,
Yeah.
whether it's a T1 or it's a T4. So first, I want to acknowledge the power of their droning,
Mhm.
the way that they were able to find every inch of the sides and provide the info to their players and proceed into the round was perfect. There were some silly moments, I
Yeah.
would call it, that they couldn't execute perfectly.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that it's a face game,
Yeah.
I'm holding a very high hope for them.
Oh, 100%.
On the other side, the Mercy Valhalla was complete different team.
Mhm.
Their droning was facile. The way they approached the round was a bit unclear or messy sometimes, but their attacks were completely stacked.
Mhm.
So if they wanted to push into the side, it was like a 3 or 4 players pushing together, hold a crossfire. That's a positive. But on the other hand, EA attacks was completely by the book. They would try to push multi-dimensional
Yeah.
and find the ability to make diversions. So collision of these two teams together was very fun
Yeah.
to watch and understanding the point of view for them.
Mhm.
But I want to mention something
Of course,
of a
yeah.
very small thing, is that how the buff to Legion has changed the player style
Yeah.
for. So before that, you would go roam, spread your goo mines, and waiting for that sound to pop off to understand where is that push coming, trying to flank a roam, a heavy roam in some situation. But now Legion is more often an anchor
Yeah.
than a roamer. You played late in the round, you put your mines maybe in the very sneaky path that they don't see because it's completely visible now. So the play style that Legion is providing may change the meta
Yeah.
from a very aggressive push. It may change into maybe more play by the book style, where we see, I think, season 6 or season 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, year 6 and
Yeah.
year 5. But I'm all interested in what is happening in the next games.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's always good. You had a few good points, and I couldn't agree more. To be honest, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with those. It was good to see a good attack on Clubhouse. It's very rare that you get that at this level, where you get. I mean, they got 4 rounds on the attack, Eagle Empire on Clubhouse, and they looked comfortable doing it. So, they looks really good. And I think I'm with you on that one. I think I'm excited to kind of see where this team goes, and because the Eagle Empire have been about for a bit. I'm hoping that they can get a bit of success this season. Of course, they've got 2 rosters out in this one as well. So, but that's going to be it for the first game. So we are going to basically just chill it for a little while. We do have another game scheduled in. I do just need to very quickly check the start time of it, just to double check that it's still set at the right time. So it is set for 7:30. Which is quite a bit of a gap. I'm not gonna lie, it's quite a bit of a gap. Of course, that's just when the players that's just when it's scheduled. I believe we did have a game in between it, so that was basically changed the schedule. So anyway, another 2 games. So we are not going to keep waffling for another hour and a half. So it will be a pretty big break. I will then be joined by Blixby to cast and Tish again on the desk. But that'll be it for us for now. So we'll throw it over to a break, and we'll see you guys in the next game shortly. Ta-ta.